All right. Okay, so I hate intros.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
We're very good at doing introductions. Can you tell? We're incredibly organic at this.
So this is number 2.
This is officially podcast 2. Yeah.
Podcast 2. No, because we did introduction.
We did
then
introduction.
We did number 1. And
Yeah.
now this is officially number 2.
That's right. So we are, last time, because we realized we had gone over probably a lot because we ran out of film time. So we're going to behave ourselves today. And as our producer / my daughter tells me, we have to keep this at like 45 minutes-ish.
Yeah. Half an hour to 45.
1 hour later.
Half an hour.
I know. We'll never do a half an hour. I'm sorry.
Imagine we bring on a guest and we do it at 30 minutes and we're like, that was a shit guest. Let's get that right off. So if you ever come on our show and we keep that to 30 minutes,
it means you did something wrong.
You did, yeah.
No, you've never done anything wrong. You're perfect just the way you are.
Okay, so
we're leading off of the feminine energy.
that's what we were talking about last time. Yeah. And it's funny because we had a bit of a break in between filming that and then doing this one.
Christmas, New Year's. Oh, Happy New Year.
Happy
everybody.
New Year.
2023.
Except when everyone hears this, they're going to be like 3 weeks into it. But
Yeah,
that's
okay.
fine. It's
That's
still
okay.
a Happy New Year.
It is.
Yeah, so we ended up talking about being in your feminine energy, what that means, and how to kind of take responsibility for that. But before we dive too motherfucking deep into that, we got to do Would You Rather. We got to do Would You Rather.
Would you
We actually
rather?
did a little drive around yesterday and we did some errands and you thought of your own Would You Rather and it was really good.
Yes, it was.
So I was like, okay, I got to think of a good Would You Rather. So I was trying to think about it last night when I was going to bed. And I think I got a good one and I'm going to try. I didn't practice saying it aloud, but let's just see how this comes together. Okay?
Okay, I'm ready.
Because
I'm
I was thinking,
I'm excited. Woo!
it's a very commitment-y one. So
I'm Gemini. I don't like commitment.
that's why it's good.
Oh,
That's why it's good.
Okay.
So the question is, would you rather for the rest of your life, okay? So the rest of your life, your makeup looks so pretty.
Oh,
for the
thank
rest
you.
of your
So
life.
you're gorgeous. I don't even need to tell you how beautiful you are.
So
Okay.
would you rather for the rest of your life so you can only have sex / be in a relationship with one person every single month. So a different person every single month for the rest of your life, okay? And you like them. You do like them, okay?
Okay,
Unequivocally, you like them, okay?
Okay.
Or, same thing, you like them, but the same person for the rest of your life. Like, you cannot be with anybody else. Like, one person for the rest of your life, or a different person every single month that you like a lot for the rest of your life. Oh, I knew this one would get you pretty good, Crystal.
I'm like, don't answer it quickly. But we all know what my answer is.
What do you think?
I'm going once a month, baby.
Are you really? Actually, though,
Yes. Yeah.
An answer is a lot of things I'm always right, you know? Just pat myself on the back. I'm like, she's probably going to pick that. And in an ideal world.
But why would you say that I would pick that? Why did you think I would pick that one and not the other one?
Because you're just such a, like, lover of many, like a lover of all. And that's what I've been, like, kind of, like, I want you to have your own journey and stuff. But ever since I've met you, I've been kind of being, like, you know, said to you all the time, I'm like, I think that you think outside of the box in a lot of things, but we're still trapped inside the matrix of existence, right? But I think that there's a piece of you, a pretty big, quiet piece of you that still thinks I have to
Form into this monogamy relationship.
Yeah.
There is. You know that I've been. It's not. Let's not use the word struggle.
Yeah.
But there was that point where I'm like, no, I'm not doing any of that, and it's only this way. And it's like, well, that didn't feel right.
But at the same
didn't
time,
feel
though,
right.
it's hard because everybody else, whether they want to or not, or whether they know they want to or not, whatever it is, I mean, let's just say that could actually be a thing. The would you rather, like literally somebody new every single month for the rest of your life. Are there even enough people in the world that think like that? You know what I mean? That are that sort of
conscious. It's like it's a conscious lever, right? That's the conscious masculine, the conscious feminine. This is where I'm heading towards, and I know you are, and Nate is as well. Is that you guys are expanding your consciousness as individuals, and in sacred union with one another.
Yeah, because for me, I would pick the same person.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like I would pick the same person because I find it, and I've talked about this a lot before, but I find it very challenging to be with the same person all the time.
Yeah.
Right. And then because of that challenge, you find out a lot about yourself. Like you discover a lot about yourself when you are like landlocked with this person forever.
That's one of the biggest, greatest teachings.
Oh my God, it is.
It's like, it's sacred union with the divine masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
And it's your children.
Yes.
They are super, super huge teachers in your journey, if those are the choices that you choose for on your journey.
Yeah.
But being in that masculine and divine feminine role is super, it's probably one of the biggest it's one of the greatest teachers.
Yeah, it's super
because it really makes you look at yourself. And
do you think that
am I running away from it? Maybe. Yeah. I was just thinking about that. I was just fucking thinking that. I was like, am I actually running away from this energy?
Yeah.
But then it's something that I ask the creator almost every day. I'm like,
I know.
Thank you for sending me beautiful, divine, masculine men that I can expand with. But then that's the whole thing. Where are these divine, conscious, masculine men?
Yeah.
I know they're out there, and I know even through what we're speaking, and beautiful men that I know that have conscious male groups, that it is awakening. It is they are alchemizing that old patriarch type,
but
right?
Let's see.
Of masculine.
For the would you rather though, do you know how many men you would have to go through?
Once so once like, a month, so that's 12 months.
It's calculator time.
Yeah, so 12 men a month. So let's say
12 men a year.
12 men a year. Let's say we'll start at 20 years old. That
we'll
de-virginize.
Let's go now. We'll go now. So let's 20? Say let's just round you to 40 for the sake of ease. So let's say for the next 40 years.
Okay.
So you would have to find 480 men.
Where are you guys? Where are you, my conscious, divine, masculine?
Who are only willing to hang around for 30 days, 31 days fucking max, 28 on the rough months. February, that's your rough month. That's the guy you're like, I don't know about this. He's a February guy. December's in for the fucking long haul. Okay, so there. You would pick that. I would pick that.
But then, like, I feel like,
what?
Maybe 10 years from now, I might want the one guy.
Yeah, but right now that's your choice.
Okay, yes, that's my choice.
Yeah, right now that's your choice. I hope in 10 years I don't change my mind.
And you're like, that's it, I've had enough of Nate.
I need a new man every month.
I want a new guy every month. Nate, it's over.
Oh, I'm too picky. I couldn't do it.
But if you had the lineup, okay, if you had, you said you liked all these men. These men are all good men. In the question, you like them all. Everybody's liked.
It's just different iterations of Nick Bosa every single month. Nick Bosa makes it into the podcast. There you go. All the different
aspects of Tupac.
Okay, but you know what? When you are evolving as a couple and when you're evolving as individuals, it actually does feel like that a lot. Especially with my partner, he's always evolving. And I find sometimes, like, remember I told you recently, I was like walking out of the gym because my partner's undergone a lot of spiritual changes recently. And I was walking out of the gym and I had this sensation of like missing somebody. And that's not to sound like a shallow bitch, but I don't miss people easily. And I was like, oh, this is a weird feeling. So then I was like, who could I miss, right? And then the first person I thought of was my mom because she's passed. Then I was like, no, that's not sitting. Like, that's not hitting. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, that's not hitting. And then I was like thinking about getting to my car, have a sip of my smoothie. And I was like, nah, this can't be real. But it felt so real. And I was like, I miss the old version of my husband.
Yeah.
Who was not as evolved, right? Like, there's a lot of things that could be a fucking 5 episodes about that. But like, and that's not in a bad way or anything. Clearly, I missed him. But I kind of missed when he would come into the room and he would just be a dummy. Like, he would look at me like, duh, like, and now he like looks and he's like, I see you.
Yes.
Right, I see everything that's going on now. And I was kind of like, oh my God, I kind of miss that dumb guy who kind of just comes in and he's like, doopy doopy doo, like Barney Rubble. And I was like, oh my God, I like miss him. So if you're working on evolving, if you're working together, if you're working separately, it is not every month that would be fucking really dramatic and like it would be exhausting on your relationship and yourself, but you do definitely like it changes. It really changes.
Of course
when
it
I
does.
think about us from even like 2020, I'm like,
I think about
so
you
different.
guys from 2 years ago.
That's right.
Right?
So
like
different.
3 years ago. It's so different.
It is so different.
So different.
Kind of the same.
Yeah.
Kind of the same.
Yeah.
Okay,
I love it.
That's
I love
our would
it.
you rather.
Woohoo!
That is our would you rather. Okay, so
But it kind of goes into what you
can.
just said.
yeah.
Actually goes into the feminine. Okay. Let me ask you a question.
Oh, I like the questions.
Okay. So you just said that you had a moment of missing the old energy that Nate brought. Of actually not seeing you.
Yeah.
Right? Not fully.
Yeah, kind of very surface.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, okay. Within your feminine energy, how did you alchemize that? To know that you're like, so that's the ego is like, oh, I miss that.
Mm-hmm.
But then that part of you, that divine feminine, has been for years trying to shake that shit up with Nate. And all of a sudden you're like, oh no, I missed this. But then it's like, but you know that this is the way forward because you're both expanding. So as the divine feminine energy, how did you alchemize that? How are you alchemizing that, and how are you implementing that within your realms now, within your relationship of having that loss of him? Because it's a loss.
It is a loss.
It is a loss.
But you also gain something so much too.
It
reminds me a lot of like when I look at my children, and anybody that knows me knows I'm radically obsessed with my youngest child, and because he's such a weird child. And it's funny sometimes. Okay, so he's snapshot of a certain version, a certain age, like my brother. Okay, he's 30, but in my brain he's always 13. It's like I am shocked every time I see my brother. I'm like, holy fuck, you're not 13, right? Because he is snapshotted in my memory like that version of him.
Yeah.
My little son, he's snapshotted a certain way. So I'm serious. Sometimes he'll just, I've seen him 10 minutes ago, but he'll come down the stairs and he'll bring his glasses or his plates downstairs. And I'm literally like, give me back my son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's these teenage boys who have stolen my children, and I love them too.
Yeah.
But I miss the other version when they're just like literally monkeys. Like they meh.
Yeah.
And I feel similar with my husband. It's like, hey, you took a version of him. It's like I want them to coexist. Like I want them to both be there, but they're not. Mm-hmm. But it's like so much better for me, and it's so much better for him, more importantly, right? That he's like awake. But I think that it's like more than anything, I feel like for me it's almost like a habitual thing of just having that person there. Like I'm used to that person, and I've got to kind of get used to this new person now. And on that note of femininity and stuff, I have definitely more what's the word I want to use, like ability and opportunity to be a lot more in like my like classic kind of feminine energy. And then I can kind of fuck up like that too.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'll say something like, okay, like I'll go into my masculine sort of and be like, yeah, but are you sure you did that? He's like, yeah, I did it. Because I'm so used to having to like be in my masculine, right? That sometimes I'll like trip up and I'll be a little bit overbearing or a little bit like bossy because I'm so used to him not being in his like masculine, right? Yeah. He's in his immature masculine, where it's like putting things off and being angry when you confront him about things he didn't do and stuff like that. That he said he was going to do, right? Not just some like bitchy wish list of stuff I want him to do, but just basic stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that that's probably like one of the biggest hurdles is like showing up every day and being forced into a new version of myself to better suit the version of himself. But that's a version of myself that I've really pushed for. Yes. It's like I have had to be in my masculine like so many women for so long. I am tired of my motherfucking self. I want to explore who I am in that version, because even my childhood didn't really, like a lot of people, didn't allow me to be in my feminine at all either, right? It was like a lot of protection
the feminine
mode.
Was very pink, princess, which is big. I love it, but they gave us a little bit.
100%.
Just this tiny little, right? Because
but that's why modern day feminists, God bless them, but that's why they're so adamantly against that, right? They're like, Disney princesses are garbage. And I'm like, Disney princesses are motherfucking heroes for girls. Are you kidding me? Ariel fucking saved Prince Eric. They're badass. When you watch the movies, you're like, no. These bitches are badass.
They are.
And they have
Mulan,
all of the...
she's a gangster. She's the warrior.
Oh, even Snow White. Bitch is 13 years old. A guy comes with an axe and he's like, I'm about to kill you. And she's like, oh shit. And he's like, run away. Never come back. The queen wants you dead. And you're like, fuck. And you run into the woods. And then it's like seven little men who need a woman's touch. Yeah. But it's like, but like all of these traits that they had, which was like caring, compassionate, forgiveness, bravery. It's like, why are we putting those on the fucking back burner? But I do see why, right? Because we were just given this tiny little sliver of like, this is what qualifies as feminine. Yeah. So of course people are like, burn it, torch it down. We can be anything. But it's like, also we can be that too. Yes. Like I fucking love that. You know?
I do too.
So
I love unicorns.
I want to fall into that stuff.
You know, and glitter and princess stuff. But at the same time, it's like having that balance of knowing, I guess, the healthy boundaries of it.
Well, yeah, and also too, a lot of that's very youthful. Yeah. Right? And in our Western society, we're like, we all praise the altar of youth, which is fucking brutal. We were actually just talking about clothing. Because I had an absolute hissy fit trying to find clothes at the mall, and I was like, oh my god, everything, it's either like, yes, I've given up and I'm 75 years old, or it's like...
Or 50 years old. I've given up and I'm 50 years old. And it's like, it's just getting started at 50, baby girl. Oh. It's the 50s, don't give a fuck.
Or it's that, or it's like...
Or 50s, I don't give a fuck. And I'm going to wear frumpy old clothes.
Or it's like you're 14 and haven't like a developed body yet, right? So it's like, I felt like I was like, oh my God, there's literally no clothes that exist for me. And I had an absolute fucking hissy fit about that. But that brings me into this really great quote that I found. Okay, so let's shout out this bro. Let me see. I screenshotted it.
Let's shout him out.
Okay, so this came up as like a sponsored post on our fucking mom's Instagram, which please give us love for the algorithm. Follow our shit. It's good shit.
Yes.
We post the good shit.
It's fun.
Okay, so I found this on a sponsored post. So the account is called Rising Masculinity. This bro looks pretty cool. His name is Malcolm Fraser. I've not seen anything else of his, but I just saw this and I'm like, this is worthy to share. And I feel like this is a really great thing for us to go into. So it's quite simple. Your feminine partner communicates either two things with you. I feel safe with you, or I don't feel safe with you. If she doesn't feel safe with you, she will call upon her own inner masculine protector and close off to you. And I love that so much because it really, I knew we were going to be talking about this again today, and it was like divine intervention that Instagram should show me this sponsored post.
Of course.
But, all right, the dog.
Hi, Karma. But we're not having some time with you.
For those that can't see what's happening, Crystal's dog has decided to try to take over the show.
Yeah, come on, over here, please. Good boy. Pups, good boy. Just lie there and hold space for us. So I've got a good story for this.
Oh, story away.
I've got a great story for this because so you know that I was in New York for work.
Yeah.
And there was somebody there that I met up with as well.
Yeah.
And we've been chatting for a little while, which has been great. Mm-hmm. And as you know, I don't drink. Mm-hmm. And I've been really putting out those affirmations of like, I want to be in my feminine.
Yeah.
I want to be more with Caden as a single mom. I don't want to really be in that masculine anymore. And trying to figure out how that is, and with partners as well. It's like doing everything differently, 100% differently. Okay. So we were out for dinner, and this person had a couple too many drinks. Yeah. And started getting obnoxious and annoying. And I truly stayed in my feminine.
Which was hard because
Which was very hard. Yeah. Because I went on the defense right away. Yeah. Especially, and then like all of my past stuff is coming up, and it's like fight him. And it's like, well, he's had a couple too many drinks, and this is out of his character. Right. And so the next day I left it. Yeah. Went for a walk in Manhattan Park. I left it, and I just allowed myself to like think and really like, okay, how am I going to approach this? So I had a very beautiful big learning lesson. He was on his way to go to the gym, and we had a conversation like,
God, he went to the gym when you guys were there?
Yes.
Okay, well, points for that guy for that.
Yes, definite points for that guy for that. So I picked the wrong time. He was going out of the door, and I was standing in the corner of the door, and I said, oh, you know, I would like to maybe reflect on like how the night went and blah blah blah. Okay. He kind of hovered over me. He got defensive, and
he wanted to, like, he was ready to go at the door.
And I kind of, and so I picked a bad thing. I picked a bad moment, right? Okay. Great learning lesson, beautiful teaching. And so I kind of hovered down because he was like I get it, and I'm like and I was like, let's go sit on the bed. Okay. So I brought him over.
This poor bro's like wearing his gym shit and everything. You did not fucking tell me that side of the story. She casually left that out the first time she told me this. As a gym buff myself, I would have been like, okay, I was in gym mode, and now I gotta be in conversation with a hurt person mode.
Yes. Well, it actually ended well. Good. Okay. Because I brought us over to the bed. Yeah. And I took his hands like this. Yeah. And then I looked at him, left eye to left eye. Yeah. And I was like, let's finish this conversation here. And I'm like, I'm still not sure. Yeah. I'm navigating people that are drinking. If I'm dating, if I'm going to date somebody that does drink. And I'm like, so this is all new territory for me. And I'm like, you know, it kind of put a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Yeah. And I'm just not sure if I want you to drink. And he didn't. He didn't drink the rest of the trip, which was beautiful. And honored me and actually sat there. And so what I realized is in staying within my feminine, even though that conversation brought up anxiety and made me feel like, I'm like, oh, when do I do it? When do I do it? Right. It really is, for me, it's really about sitting down with the person, holding them and connecting from the left eye to the left eye. But you're right.
Like, it's really hard. And I can really...
So that was, I actually, to at the end of the day, after that conversation, and we had a really beautiful night together, I was like, yes, brush my shoulders off.
Fuck yeah.
I was like, God, I'm so proud of myself for staying. 100%. Because I could have like...
When you told me the story, that's what I said. Yeah. Not to mention, let's go back even further in the story. So you don't drink. I don't drink either. No hate on the drinkers.
No.
Drink away. No. That's just a personal choice.
Go ahead.
So...
Pardon me.
Could you imagine? Here's what I find. I find drinking, I wouldn't even say if it brings out like the masculine or feminine, but like for like generically, but I find for me, it brings out like obnoxious masculine almost. Like frat boy energy when I would drink. And like, you know,
that was his.
And then there's like the girls, right? Because we still bartend from time to time.
Yes.
And like, oh, bless you girls. Bless you girls. The girls that stay in their feminine when they're drunk, and they're the ones that are like, you're so pretty.
Yeah.
You're like the nicest bartender ever. I'm like, that is not my drunk energy.
Yeah.
My drunk energy is like it's Crazyville. It's fucking Crazyville. So
is mine.
So if I were to get into a disagreement while I was drunk, or even just drinking, it was way more toxic than just my sober mind, even in a less feminine headspace. Even then, it's like really, really toxic. But like, then screw the alcohol, but just my lived experience and your lived experience is very similar. I feel like whenever I get into confrontation with somebody, same thing, I really, really go into my masculine because it feels safer.
It does. It does feel safe.
It feels like I can protect myself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's really hard to think, because we also haven't really been taught that from like a societal standpoint or shown examples. And that's why I said I love the Disney princesses, because they always stay in their feminine. And I know they're fictional characters, they're cartoon characters, but I loved that like they would stay brave in their femininity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm learning how to do that, but I'm still pretty shit at it. I'm pretty good at getting into my feminine and other things like we were talking about in the last podcast, which is like being a sensualist.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, you know, like feeling fabrics.
Time.
Yeah. Like makeup,
Kegels,
hair.
Squeeze.
Like sensuality, sexuality,
smells,
food, all that stuff.
All those
so
pleasures.
good. But when it comes to like conflict, I can like boom. It's like I can feel myself wanting to go right through the masculine.
Well, you are Aries, so there is that fire within you.
Lots of Aries.
Yes. So I think that might be part of your, we won't call them challenges, but that's just like, even you and I both, we got tons of masculine in our charts.
Fuck, we do.
Tons. So for you and me, the feminine role is that much more, I don't want to use the word challenging, but that's much more alchemizing for us to kind of like.
It's interesting because my daughter, who's super feminine, right? And girls like her who've always been really good friends of mine, because I love keeping that energy around. It's like I said, it's like having My Little Ponies or Disney princesses around. You're like, you're not even fucking real. I love you. Yeah. And it's funny because when she runs into conflict or stress, she like cries. And I always thought, oh, that's so weak. Like, you know, I'd grow up in school and you'd see girls just, as soon as things got hard, it's like they just like water, with the waterworks, right?
Yeah.
But that shit's so fucking effective.
It's the best.
They're
crazy. Moving their energy, babe.
And it's like everyone around them is like, oh my God.
Yeah,
like,
they get a bit.
They get their way right away. Yeah. But I've always been like, I'm going to get my way like this, right? And it's funny because sorry, dog.
Karma.
But it's crazy how effective that actually is. You start crying and you start like being in your feminine in that way. It's pretty wild how effective that is. I'm not going to start doing that or anything, but it's pretty wild how effective that is at making that conflict like quickly quiet and dissolve, right? But yeah, it's really hard. And based on that guy's quote, like, you know, I think that even women who don't have a lot of masculinity in their astrological charts, guys, I'm a big astrology nerd, okay? So
yes,
just
she
like
is.
Fucking live with my flexing on astrology all the time.
She will flex the astrology and she'll flex the vegan food, and I will flex for her as well.
So
she's amazing.
So it's like, it is very, but you know what's so weird? I was talking to my son, my 14-year-old son yesterday about this, which was such a funny conversation. It's weird because I feel like we're living in a time where women are so trapped in this like masculine cycle, right? Where we're reacting and responding and thinking very sort of like masculine. But then men are having this huge masculinity crisis, which is why that God that we read has that, I think it's, Masculinity Rising or something like that. And so many accounts are popping up like that. People like Andrew Tate are becoming really popular because there really is this crisis with masculinity and then women we're not talking about the fact that we're having a femininity crisis.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, I wonder if that's going to happen. Like, I wonder if that will be like, people will be like,
it's gonna crack, which is good. But I feel, okay. I feel like women have had a platform for a while and they just haven't, okay, let me be very careful how I choose my words here. I don't want like hate mail.
You can't help it. You can't help it, man.
There'll be like some women will be like, "Fuck you, Crystal. You're shit." Okay,
that's all right.
It is all right. So I feel like women have had a platform for quite a while, and I think our platforms could be a little bit more nourishing to the masculine because it's a union. It's a union. It's not just about women. It's not just about men. That's just separation, right? When we separate, we conquer.
Yeah.
So if we actually come to a point of being like, yes, let's unionize together as a collective conscious of the female and the feminine, the masculine, instead of being like, oh, me too, and oh, poor men, or oh, poor women, and you know what?
Yeah.
Everybody's been raped. Everybody's been molested. Everybody's had fucking shitty lives, boys or girls.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. In a past life, you've been a boy or you've been a girl. Like, we've already had all of these experiences. So there's no separation. And I do think that men do need more platforms. Like, we're lucky enough that we're going to get to interview Nico Cannon.
Yeah.
And he... amazing soul. He's got a book coming out soon, and he's very big with the masculine. He does work with women, but it's conscious relationships.
So do you
That's
feel
what it is.
like there's a lot of platforms that are starting to cater to men and dealing with their masculinity in a positive way, right? But then women's platforms en masse, right? We're not talking about like smaller little accounts or smaller platforms, but it's more about like the kind of that girl boss energy, that kind of like, yeah, you can do it. Because I live in like a little bubble on the internet like everybody does, and I'm very selective of what I follow and what I do. So for me, I think, oh wow, everybody's just getting so in touch with their masculinity and their femininity, but then when it's like you talk to other people, you go to parties, you hang out with like, you know, family and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, this is a different world than...
It's a different world. Like, and you and I are manifesting, honey.
Yeah.
We're manifesting a different world, right?
So it's really different.
It's very different.
You know, like we had talked about that party that we had gone to, and there were a lot of really beautiful, amazing women there, but very in their masculine, you know, and the things that they were patting themselves on the back for were... And again, because society, like as a whole, applauds you for those things, but we are society. Like we can all alter how that is.
Yeah.
But all of the accomplishments, all of the, like I said, all the things they pat themselves on the back for, all the things that they were reaching for, were all very things that I'm really find like I'm trying to move away from.
Yeah. Same with me.
Right? Because, but again, that stuff also came really easy for us. So sometimes I'll like reflect and I'll be like, oh, maybe I'm being a bit of a bitch, because it's like, oh my God, are you guys like, I don't know if you can hear this.
It's Wednesday.
Is that garbage day?
It's garbage day. And it's the day of Mercury.
All right, there you go. So happy garbage day, Mercury.
Yes.
But yeah, so that shit came really easy for me. And not just because of my environment, maybe because of my astrological placements, just because of who I am. For me, girl bossing, that is me. That is me, right? I didn't have to go learn how to girl boss.
Yeah.
When somebody was trying to, like I said, when somebody was debating with me when I was younger, I'm not crying. I'm fighting you. I am gonna be right. If I have to fight you all recess on this, like when I'm a little kid, right? If I have to talk to my dad and follow him around the house to get my point across, I would do it. So maybe for a lot of these women, that doesn't actually come natural. And for them, that is something that feels so rewarding for them and such an accomplishment.
Yeah.
So it's funny, like any conversation you have that anyone could have, right? It's like, it starts breaking into all of these different pieces and you have to assess so many fucking different things. But it's like, I could understand why that would feel like such an accomplishment for them.
Well, society's telling them it's a kind of accomplishment as well, right? Society has conducted itself in a way where both parents have to go to work.
Yeah.
We're not able to be at home to the mother to nourish the children.
School system's all based on grades. It's all based on numbers. Even though you have women, like mostly in the role of the ones teaching. So then you're in this weird conundrum because that, again, my 14-year-old son, that's what he said. He's like all of my teachers are girls.
Really, Caden has almost men.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. Yeah. Immaculatus. Pimping it up with the masculine energy.
But so it's interesting because same as a girl. Like until I hit probably like high school, actually grade 9, I was a super overachiever in school because that's what I was like. I'd get really stressed if I got like in the 70s or something, and I was pissed at math, so that was really challenging. But like even from inception for boys and girls, it's like that's what we are. That's what we're sort of edged towards, is all of those things that are really like the most basic masculine things. Yep. But that's also why men can't get into their, like, for lack of a better term, like their divine masculine.
Right. They're in their immature masculine right now.
Yes.
Most of the collective consciousness is.
The collective consciousness is immature masculine.
Immature masculine.
Women and men.
Yeah. Women
100%.
and men. Yeah. And immature feminine, immature masculine.
Yes.
One without
and
a
it's
shadow
funny
of a
because
doubt.
you hear like guys like Andrew Tate saying, and whatever, I don't give a shit about Andrew Tate. I'm just saying
Andrew,
he's a loud voice.
You're coming on.
Oh, God.
I'm challenging you, darling.
Crystal can handle that on her own.
I will. Well, I want to do a session for him.
Oh my God. That's for another episode.
It is.
So he's...
Yes.
But like, people like him, right?
Yeah.
And you'll talk to like other people when they're like, everything is just about the feminine now. Everything's so feminine. And I hear that. I'm like, I hear what they're saying, but they're wrong. Everything is immature masculine. It's like a bunch of 12-year-old boy energy all over the place.
Yeah.
For women and for men.
Yes.
So again, that's why we're just like, when we met each other actually, which I think is kind of like one of our like quiet bonding things, is that I think we were both feeling like there's something else, feeling like there's something different, knowing it's achievable, not quite like going about it kind of a different way. But I think we were both wanting to get out of that immature masculine. We were both wanting to be in the feminine and like figure out how we can be there and how we can maybe help others and guide others.
Exactly.
And like we said in the last episode, that was all like a lot of touching and feeling and just like a certain practices to be like, I think I said like, I like to literally just go to a mall. I know I was a big hissy fit baby the other day about going to the mall and having nothing there, but going to the mall, going to like Victoria's Secret or some shit, and literally just like embracing the environment, like just touching the fabrics and getting into that space, listening to sexy music, eating good food, drinking something delicious,
literally
and being really
taking
present.
yourself out on a fucking date, babe.
Yeah.
Literally, if you don't know how to nourish and pleasure yourself, how are you supposed to, number one, call in somebody that's going to nourish and pleasure you?
Yeah.
Like if you can't even feel safe.
Yeah.
Let's go back to it. The safety.
Yeah.
So if you can't even feel safe within your own feminine, how are you supposed to call in a divine masculine to honor that space? So it really is about dating yourself, finding your pleasures, finding that nourishment, feeling safe within your own self to do the inner work. Because even for me, I can feel like, I'm like, no, I'm going to get high today because I don't feel safe within my own self to look at that right now.
Yeah.
Right?
But I guess then, and I 100% agree with you, and I'm only playing devil's advocate.
Yeah,
but like,
please, I love it when you play devil's advocate.
It's like, that's, okay, so let's say you are one of the girls from that party. Okay, their lives seem really, really busy. As I've said in our intro episode, I don't do shit.
You are full of shit.
Everyone says that. No,
full of shit. This woman is nonstop. And the other day, I got fresh cookies made for me as soon as on arrival.
Okay. I do shit. But
she does a lot of shit.
It's all domestic shit. It's all within my house, and I'm not taking away from the importance of that. But other ladies have to do that shit too. They just can't do it to the degree I can because I have immense amounts of free time, right? So it's like they still have to do that. So I feel like I'm just trying to be fair to other people, because also too, people will be like, oh my God, how do you do your makeup every day? How do you get all this stuff cooked every day? How do your kids look like this every day? How do they have all this shit all of the time?
Yeah.
How, you know what I mean? And it's because it's like, I don't do anything. That's all I do. I just do domestic shit. But it's like you look at these other girls that were at this party, and they have to do that.
The careers.
Right? And then they have this intense career. When they're all talking about it, I was like, blah, 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 blah. I fucking hate these. Like,
And I know, for me, I was just like, oh, God.
that's
A lot of crazy careers going on. I'm like, I could never do that. I'm like, I love my life. I love traveling and
God
getting
bless
up
all of you bitches that do that. Like, I literally
really
fucking hate that shit.
Yeah.
But like, it's, yeah, so it's like you imagine that, okay, and then you've got your kids, and your kids have sports. Like my kids
And then
are
you
just
have to deal with
starting
your
up their
husband.
fucking sports again, and then you have to deal with your husband. Let's forget about all the baggage.
And then
Let's-
the people you work with.
Oh my God,
especially
all that
so if
energy.
you're a boss lady, if you're
Yes.
running shit, so you have a team of people you have to run, plus your house, plus your husband.
Right. So, so how are you going to date yourself?
Yeah. How are you going to date?
How are you going to get into your femininity? And and then also too, it's like, let's say you're not in a shit relationship. Okay. Let's say you're just in a neutral, good relationship.
Okay.
And it's like, your husband is going to feel, maybe he doesn't quite understand this journey that you want to go on, right? It's like, honey, I need to take like a couple hours every week, and I need to go do this thing. Like, obviously I encourage people to do that, but it's like, maybe the husband doesn't understand that. And he's like, yeah, but I don't understand.
Why?
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, how are these women supposed to, I don't want to say make time, because it's way more complicated than that. It's like, first of all, where the
want to. Number one,
and where the fuck do you even start?
Yeah.
Where the fuck do you even start?
Yeah.
Outside of right here.
Yes.
But where the fuck do you even start, right? Because it's like, maybe they'll look at your sort of stuff and they'll be like, ooh, that's kind of too out there for me, right?
Yeah.
Without having someone like you to literally be like, blah, 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 and guide them
through and explain everything.
Right.
So
then maybe they take like a more conventional path. But like, either way, it's fucking time that they don't have. It's mental energy that they don't have. And I don't have an answer for this. I'm just putting that out there as like, as something, as like a devil's advocate thing, because like I said, I used to run I was like, I'm done, right? I used to run a really insanely busy event planning company. I did that for 8 years. I balanced trying to have a relationship, have little babies, and all of that stuff. Man, I remember people would be like, oh, you've got to see this show. And I'm like, show? I don't got fucking time to watch a show. 4 seasons of this show. And I remember being blown away. People like, oh my God, did you watch The Bachelor? No. I don't watch the fucking Bachelor. I don't have time to do anything.
I'm changing diapers.
Like, holy shit.
Running princesses around the town.
Like, I live on dry shampoo, bitches. Like, you know, I don't have time. So you think about that, and I'm not saying that everyone's life is that. If you could, if it's really, really important to you, just like anything, right? You can look at your life and go, okay, cut out social media there, or make it really like social media for where I'm trying to like move towards or whatever. Like, you can always kind of make time.
Always.
But
always.
You can.
Always.
You can.
My clients try to bullshit me with stuff, and I'm like, no. I'm like, what are you doing at a stoplight?
Yeah.
And they're like, waiting for the light to turn green. I'm like, then why aren't you doing something?
But it's also too, that's really scary, right? So it's like, okay, remember at the beginning of this conversation we were saying that I'm a weirdo, and I started missing my my Barney Rubble husband. So that's another thing too, and I'm sure you deal with this all the time with your clients, but it's like, it is scary to undergo a change, especially a big one, because you're like, will everyone still love me the same? Yeah. Will I still be respected the same? Will my relationship with my partner still be the same, right?
I'll be very honest.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
And you got to take that chance, because once again, doing the same shit over and over again is the definition of insanity. Yeah. So you got to change up shit if you want if you want to be happy, you have to change it. You can't just fly by, like, you can fly by the seat of your pants kind of energy, but then at the same time, where's the consciousness? Where's the present moment? Where's the intention? Where's the growth? Where's the expansion? Where's the alchemy? It's like,
and I really think that for, based on the topic that we're talking about, and through my experience and through listening to so many other podcasts, so many other videos, and I'm talking for years, probably like 5 years, like when I became like stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife, I was really like, I literally felt like a man pretending to be a housewife. So for me, it was like I really had to like tap into. So I've been researching this and thinking about it for years, and I was like, the reason why I'm talking about this now, the reason why we have this podcast, the reason why we talk about this all the time and talk about everyone is because I'm not trying to like really sell people on this. It's just, it's become so obvious to me when you can, if you are a female identifying person, if you are born a female, it's like tapping into that. It's like your divine right. And
yes, it's your fucking
it's like
birthright.
A fucking homecoming.
Yes, it's your birthright. It's that dormant DNA that's not activated. It's like when you start activating that and activating the energy within your womb. It's
emotional.
Right? With your womb. So men have an energetic womb.
Totally.
Right? Mm-hmm. So it's not, they can even tap into this energy.
Yeah.
It's not even about identifying as the female human body. It's about,
it's yin and yang.
It's about tapping into that energy.
And that's the problem, right?
Within everydy's
when you say things
system.
like masculine and feminine, we think like the fucking man and woman signs on a bathroom stall. It's yin and yang. It's that polarity.
It's up and down, in and out.
Yeah.
It's
dark and light,
good and bad, positive,
and
negative.
Bitches, dark is feminine. I just wanted to throw that out there because in my life I always thought that dark was masculine, and then when I was doing it, I was like, dark's feminine. I was like, okay, well, sign this bitch up. Okay, I can get behind the chaos, the darkness.
That is the feminine.
And I think that's what
chaos.
we were saying, right? It was like, we tend to think of it's like Barbie. P.S. I fucking love Barbie. But like, we tend to think of it in this bubblegum pop pink way, but it isn't. Like, female energy is like scary. It's scary and it's cool. Yeah.
So I've got this thing, my girlfriend, Ginny, you guys will meet her one day. I was going through my divorce, getting sober, and she was going through a time as well. We were in some questionable places of like living arrangements because I had Caden every second weekend. Right? Okay. So when I had Caden, we'd stay in my flat. But when I didn't have him, I'd go stay with Jin. And there was a picture that she found because she looks like a Barbie. She's got the big lips, big tits, and blonde hair, and and she's a Welsh.
So pretty.
She's a Welsh Barbie. And so she's like, babe, look at this is us. And it was a Barbie. It's a picture of a Barbie doll pushing a grocery cart with garbage bags around it, and she's wearing the worst outfit, and it says Hard Times Barbie. I have to find it for you. It's the best thing ever. And she's like, look, babe, it's us. And I was like, oh my God, it is us. Hard Time Barbies.
Oh my God. But yeah, so it's like,
I love it.
That is awesome. You got to find that
I will
picture.
find it for you.
So yeah, I mean, did we solve any problems today? I don't think so. Did we add more to the pile? I think so. But that's what it's like when you're trying to figure this shit out. It's like, there's a lot of, first of all, it's like, trust me, trust Crystal. Moving into your feminine will radically change your life. And it will be super, super difficult at the beginning, just like any change, any big change. Yeah. It's really, really, really worth it. And it's going to look different for everybody.
Yes.
And every situation is different, and you have to take your own path to get there. Yeah. But like we were saying,
but explore. So I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. So when I was doing somatic sex education, SSE, we're going to be interviewing Tracy from there. We were doing pleasure exercises, and I was having a hard time. I was having a hard time really going into that and finding what is this. And then I have hair on my yoni, right?
Love that.
I know.
I don't. Here.
A bald eagle.
There you go.
I've got a little
Polarities.
I've got a little patch there, and then
Is it like a landing strip?
No, there's more. It's a V.
It's a landmass.
It's a V. It's a V. So I was like, because it's this exercise where it's like you're going to the close to the climax and then you're not.
Interesting.
Right? Okay. And then so I was grabbing my hair and I was kind of like pulling and tugging on it, and I was like, I kind of like that.
Okay.
It wasn't like
and you've never experienced anything like that before.
I've never experienced anything like that. So I was like, doing something different and asking the questions, yes, maybe, or a no. How does this feel?
Okay.
Is it a yes? Is it a maybe, or is it a no?
Oh,
right?
Okay.
And so that's what I do a lot with my clients. If I'm going into massage and we're doing like, let's say somebody had some past trauma, like their parents pulled their ears when they were kids. So I know right away they'll tense up if I go near their ears, and then I'll ask them questions. I'll be like, I'll ask permission. May I please touch here? And please give me the yes, maybe, or no. Or how does that feel? Oh, that's a yes. That's a hard yes. That's a hard no.
Yeah.
So these are great questions to ask yourself when exploring new things. It's like, don't, it's even with rope play. I'm expanding myself because I'm a very dominant person. I that's me. It's just, that's my energy. But I'm like, I know always before I was like, no, nobody will spank me. Nobody will tie me up.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, well, I've never tried it. So like, why not? But I'm going to wait for the person that I feel safe with.
Yeah.
To explore those realms.
Yeah.
So for me, it's hard to tie my own self up, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to wait.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to explore that. So it's like just telling everybody, like, don't, just because you may say that was a hard no for you before, give it a try.
And I think too, it's like when you're, as a person who's coupled, right?
Yeah.
It's like you think, okay, so let's say you do some like feminine self-exploration yourself. And let's say that you really start to like certain things with yourself. Maybe you realized, I actually like things more gentle than I was realizing. I think a lot of, especially in like a sexual way, men are so quick to the thing, and women have just adjusted, whether you know it, like I'm
consciously or unconsciously.
I consciously know it, right? Like I'm like, okay, this is going to be a rush. And I'm like, body, you're just going to have to accept this, right? But I don't feel bad about that at all, because I'm a sassy person. I'd be like, that's enough, slow right down. But I'm like, okay, I can actually do this. I'll get myself into this really, really quick.
Yeah.
But also too, it's like a lot of women like things a lot slower than they even know, because they haven't done it on themselves.
100%.
You know, they haven't had that with a partner.
100%.
So then let's say you start going in a self-discovery like mode. And then let's say you have intimacy with your partner. Again, because we just really want to get ladies less man-hating, okay?
Yes.
You have to, you really do have to be patient with your partner. They're not where you're at.
They're not.
You know?
And remember, you're the goddess.
Yes.
And when being the goddess, this is the contract that you signed before you even came into this human form in this lifetime, this time and space, this dimension. You've signed that contract to be in the feminine form and to be the goddess. And being the goddess is patience, ladies. And that is our job, is to open the womb to nourish the masculine.
I'm trash at patience, and that was one of the things that I had to work on.
I'm still working on it.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, I'm still working on
That's
it.
hard. But yeah, so it's a fucking can of worms. And you know what? It's like one of the bases of our podcast. This is not like, we're just talking, okay, guys? We're just talking. Don't judge us.
But at the same time, like, I want you to let us know how you're moving into your feminine energy.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Women and men.
Yeah.
And don't be shy to share comments, because remember, this is about all of us as a collective, helping each other to expand and helping each other to really deepen our connections with everything around us.
Yeah.
Right? Our kids, our work, our partners, friends, family, everything.
Everything.
Nature.
Oh my God, yeah.
Mama.
I love the nature.
Hush, mama.
I love the nature.
Yeah. So please share with us your experiences, because your experience might awaken and plant a seed in somebody else. And that to me is the most beautiful thing about this podcast. It's about the ripple effect.
And I think we brought this up.
Yep.
I know I did. I'm pretty sure I did. We're going to start that Facebook group.
Yes.
I know Facebook is like, okay, I go into Facebook and I'm like, oh my God, everyone is dead. Like, don't you notice you open Facebook, it's like, and God bless them. Oh my God, right? It's all these people, but it's like, Grandma died today. My uncle died today. And my death anxiety goes from like 0 to 1 million when I open fucking Facebook. I'm like, oh my God, everyone's dead. So Facebook makes me feel really fucking stressed. So, but.
Well, let's call in a different energy for Facebook then.
Well, I'm going to go in and I'm going to change my little settings to just be our fucking mom's Facebook group, because I still do like Facebook groups. I really, really do.
Yeah.
So I am going to start up that. Once these podcasts start airing, we'll have that. And that is like, I really want to have honest and like safe for people to fucking post their opinions and not have other people be like,
yeah.
Like, the internet is such a toxic shit place for stuff like that, because we're still trying to figure out how to use it, you know, like as a collective. But we're gonna start that, and I think that we'll have a lot of opportunity to have some badass conversations there for sure.
Yeah,
because there's this girl, Sabrina, and she runs this group called Rewiling for Women. Sabrina, you're a hilarious badass bitch. I love this girl. Remember the one with the tons of energy?
Yes.
And she's got like abs.
I know.
Jacked,
I saw her.
bro.
I saw her post today.
You see the other day?
And she's like,
abs.
and I was like, oh,
Girl's got like a 6-pack.
Her energy is so wild.
It's
I thought my energy was fucking. I was like, this woman has me beat. I'm like,
she does.
I have to meet you. Yeah. Because I want to feel your energy, human.
Oh, I bet you it's
contact.
amazing.
I bet you.
It's amazing.
We're inviting you. Come to Canada.
But her Facebook group's amazing. I love going through that. I'm very voyeuristic. I don't post on it.
Yeah.
But I love just going through and reading people's comments, and I love seeing healthy debate, devil's advocate kind of shit.
Yes,
I
love that. That's what we're calling in.
So that's what I want.
No offense to anybody, but if you are toxic, we will have to.
You gotta get the motherfucking boot. The big boot. Yeah. The steel toe boot, motherfucker. Don't bring toxicity into our groups.
That we want to make sure everybody feels safe and heard and seen and honored. And that's the energy we want you to bring into your full life.
Totally.
Is allowing people in your life to feel seen and heard and not feeling judged.
Agreed. So we're going to get that up and going for sure, along with all this other shit. But we are going to segue into our next episode by giving you a little idea and teaser about what we're going to be talking about next. And I fucking love this topic, people.
You love this topic, or you love your top? Ooh.
So okay, so people that are just listening cannot see how badass my top is.
It is. It's badass.
And
it feels good too.
I got it at one of those like trashy stores that
like
was like
Sirens.
Yes. Okay, so for anybody who's from Canada knows this, the Sirens brand. No offense to anyone.
It's like Forever 21.
It's
for Americans. It's that same thing. Forever
it's like
21.
You can wear it, but you can't wash it.
Or for you British, European followers, it's like Primark.
Yeah,
Primark.
Cheap, horrible for the environment, and you can't wash it. But I did wash this. I washed it inside of a pillowcase, and I'm like, and it just has this tiny little pull now. But yeah, so for anyone not watching,
your knockers look amazing in it.
It's like the ruching. It's got like ruching. But you guys should just try to find a picture of me in this.
How she just touched her breast.
I did.
Really nice.
You like that?
Oh, you like that?
So, okay. So I will let Crystal segue into the next thing we're going to talk about, and then we're going to finish up, because apparently, according to our producer, my daughter producer, people don't like podcasts that are over an hour. So we're going to try to keep this like under an hour, like good bitches. Okay, Crystal, time is ticking.
Oh, time is ticking.
Okay, so New Year's party.
Yes, we were at a New Year's party and we had a blast.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you to our friend for hosting all of those fucking teenage boys.
Yes,
it was a lot of them.
It was a lot of boys.
There was 14
in
boys?
it was a sausage party.
Ew, it was gross.
In the hot tub.
It was gross. It's a hot tub. Okay, you know those hot tubs that you can get at like Home Depot, right? So they have like 4 corners. They're kind of like
You can fit 4 people in there, like nice.
Like max.
Yeah.
If it was 4 big men, it would be too much.
Yeah, it'd be a little sausage.
It's a family hot tub. If you had mom, dad, 2 kids, right, or a girl party or something like that. Perfect. It's good. But I'm not fucking joking. There were 14 boys in this hot tub.
14-year-old boys.
It's disgusting.
It was.
And when they got out, there was no water left in the hot tub.
So gross.
So bless our friend.
Yes, she did amazing.
She did. And she sacrificed her hot tub for these little sausage party boys.
Yeah.
So we were at this party. Yes. And Crystal is Crystal. She's Crystal. So she, of course, was wanting...
I'm like, let's shake this shit up. Let's shake it up. Because you know what I did? I microdosed that night because everybody was drinking. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, I'm going to do some mushrooms.
I just did stone cold sober, dude.
Yeah, good for you.
I know.
Well, everybody was fuzzy. Like, we were sitting there and I'm looking at everybody and everybody's all nice and fuzzy. And I'm like,
So you like hardcore microdose?
Yeah.
That's what like, you macrodose?
I macrodose. My microdoses are... I'm a high doser. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, I feel fuzzy. Everybody looks so fuzzy. And I'm like, how can we shake some shit up in here? I'm like, this is getting I
need it was all couples except for Crystal.
For me, I was, oh my.
You needed your 1 month man there.
Yeah.
I know. It was the first. It was the 31st. He packed his bags. He got out of
He's like, bye, bitch.
Well, this month's over. Love ya. Love ya.
We're going to send in Mr. January now. Where are you, Mr. January?
We want the crossover.
Where are you? So I was like, so everybody, there's a couple sitting in front of me. So this is the table. A couple sitting in front of me here. Another couple here. I'm here. Kris is standing back here. And Nate is over here.
My husband, yeah.
Yes. Papa Nate. And I was like, I've got a question to ask everybody.
Yo, guys, this like nobody was talking about this kind of shit. Yeah, just to set the scene.
Yeah, set the scene. We're talking regular talk, and me, I'm all fuzzed out, and I'm like, let's change the topic. This is boring me. Let's go. And I was like, I'm like, what is everybody's kinky fantasy date? The room went silent.
Yeah.
Silent.
Except for the boys in the basement.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then what did we get? There was like a little bit like what did happen? I feel like people they just kind of looked. It was like a little bit.
You know why? Because I think in my world, I'm taking the situation and making like a film, like a movie out of it, and that's not how it happened. Because in my brain, everybody went perfectly quiet and it was awkward, but that's not actually how it happened. I think they were kind of asking you questions.
Yes.
It was like, and then you were just filling the space by like trying to ask them more questions and give them more information.
Yeah.
And then that's when I popped into the conversation because I was like, okay, they need to be grounded.
Well, she comes walking over because I take people like, up here, like, let's dance in this area.
Yeah.
And then she comes walking over, the bulldog that you are. I fucking love it. And she's like, facts. Blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh.
Yeah,
and then they were all like, oh, okay, yeah. Because you're a matter of fact. And I'm like, let's hippy dippy this shit.
Yeah, so it's a good combo.
It's
because
a great
you
combo.
Start getting you start getting things moving.
Yeah.
And then I kind of put it in a direction.
Yeah.
Right? So then, because I was like, oh boy, she's going to need help here. And also, too, I was like, yeah, people really should be thinking about this.
Yes.
And this came about because I think you were like talking to somebody who you're kind of talking to or whatever. And then you were trying to see this is a whole story, guys, but you were trying to see like what their fantasy was. And then you went like, oh, but the mistake you made was you said fantasy date. And then when my poor husband thought of this beautiful date, okay, this like amazing date, and a date you would love to be a part of.
He did. He
really even involved you in his date.
I know, he did involve me.
He involved you, and she's like, that's shit. That's a shit thing. I'm like, what? And then you were like, no, it's not kinky or this. I'm like, okay, this wasn't what's your kink. This is make the best sexy date you can. Like your sexiest date. And I was like, his date was really sexy.
It was. But I was like, where's the fucking kink? Where's the fucking kink?
So we turned it around, and that's the question. It's like, what is your kinky fantasy?
What's your kinky date fantasy? That's what it is. It's a date, but it's your kinky date.
It's just so specific. But yeah, so your kinky date fantasy. But it's the specificity of it forces you to have to think deeply about it.
Yeah.
That's the part that's interesting.
It's the details that I want people to go into.
Yeah.
Not like just think like, oh, I'll get tied up with ropes. It's like, no, what are you wearing? What do you smell like? What's the room look like? What does he look like? What is she wearing? What are you wearing?
Because
what are you eating before? What's the date?
I felt that. Remember we were talking about this on the, no, you came to my house the next day and we were talking about it and we were standing beside each other. That must have been, we must be so annoying to people sometimes. We're like our energy is so intense when it's together. People are probably like, stay away from me with your weird questions and sexuality.
Our friends love us, I think.
We get invited to shit, so. But it's like the instant that you asked it, it was almost like having like psychic abilities. I could feel the thoughts that people started having, and then we were talking about this the next day. It's like when you say the word kink, what do people think immediately? BDSM.
Yeah. BDSM, domination.
Yes.
Yeah, humiliation.
Yes.
Right?
But they immediately think that.
Yeah.
And it's like...
And that's okay, because that's the way they've been conditioned.
Fine. Yes. But then it's funny because I was saying, then people go, I hate kink. No. You don't hate kink.
Yeah.
You're just not attracted to like that BDSM stuff, right? And then a lot of people also think, so we were talking about this as well, that boy oh fucking boy, it's actually really hard to think if you're a kinky date that even if you just sit there and meditate on it and you think about it, you're like, I shouldn't think about this shit in public. Yeah. You know, like it kind of gets you like wowzers. Because if I'm sitting here right now and I'm thinking of what those people are thinking about, right? Like pleather, latex, sex dungeons, all of that stuff is not unappealing to me at all.
Oh, it's fun. Super fun. Yeah,
but it's
super fun. But that to me that's not my kink date.
It's not my kink.
That's not my kink
It's not my kink. It's not my kink. So you could feel them instantly being like, I don't like kink.
Yeah.
And I'm talking on behalf of my friends. Sorry if any of my friends are listening to this. Like, bitch, you are wrong.
Yeah.
You are wrong.
They might like kink.
Yeah.
And if they tell us they do like kink, then we'll bring them on and we'll talk about their kinkiness.
Like, so the kinky date thing is, so here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do.
You're going to tell yours and I'll tell mine next one, right?
Okay.
Oh, can I tell mine? Mine's pretty graphic.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Don't be such a crybaby. Sure. Does anyone here think that Crystal's sex fantasy is going to be vanilla? Probably fucking not. That's the whole point of it. It's supposed to be kinky. Yours isn't even that weird.
I don't think it is. It took me years to come with this. Another thing. Your kink fantasy, you're not. Well, maybe you will. Maybe you will.
I got mine pretty quick because I thought about it for 2 days straight.
Right.
When I was peeing, when I was cleaning, when I was cooking, I was like, "What is it, Kris? What is it? Like, what is the thing that immediately gets you going?" Like, and again, I'm not talking about genital energy. I'm talking about like you kind of like wow, like you can't really think about anything else when you start thinking about that, right? That's the energy that I'm.
It's like everything vibrates. It's like it starts in your yoni, and then it just like through your whole body, and then through your aura, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
oh, I really like that. Like it just thinking about it gets you like you're
excited.
Like, oh, yeah,
you fill with life, right?
So
we're gonna pose this question so that we can talk about it in the next podcast.
Yes,
which is. You explain it because you're the inventor of it.
Okay, so what we're asking of you, and actually, well, we'll reveal what our kinky date is. So we want you to think about yours.
Yeah.
To think about yours, and actually to think about what kink actually means to you.
Yeah.
Right? I know we're talking about femininity, so maybe let's intertwine those two. Maybe seeing like going into that feminine energy and seeing what kind of feminine maybe mixing
for
kink.
Our man listeners though, which apparently we have an abundance of. Every time I look at the stats, I'm like, okay, we got a lot of male followers on our social media. Come on, bitches, join the fun.
Go, ladies.
Join the fun.
I'm calling you goddesses in.
Yes. So it's like
for the men, it's no, I want the men to tap into the feminine as well. Tap into that womb, tap into that, because with the feminine energy, like their masculine will bring them that just like, okay, yeah, I want to tie a girl up. I want two women to fight over my lingam. Okay?
Maybe, but there's a lot of dudes that are also like, just do with me what you want.
Yes, right, exactly.
Yeah.
So for the men,
but we want them,
the men, what is she wearing? What is she wearing? What does she smell like?
Okay, so be more detail oriented.
We
want this for the women too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We want details, bitches.
Details. Like I want you to really go into it, like fall into that space.
Childlike imagination.
Yes.
Yeah, like really take some time. You know when I like to do thinking like that too? Is like right before I go to bed, because it also helps me fall asleep. Like I'll give my mind a project and I'll be like, and nothing serious or else I won't fall asleep. I'll be like, where's my birth certificate?
Yeah.
But like, it's like, I go to bed thinking about that. So I did. I'm not joking. For 2 days, I literally did. And I was like, no, that's not it. That's not it. And you know how many stories I had to throw away? And I'd start building a good one. And I'm like, actually, no, this sounds really fucking good. And then I'm like, it's not it though.
Yeah.
It's not it.
Yeah.
So build your date from the second, like even preparation.
Like what are you how are you preparing for this?
Right. Yes.
How are you preparing for this?
Yeah.
Lay out your clothes while you're like taking a bath. Like, are you going to start off taking a bath with flowers and like what's that smell that you're going to have through the night? Is it rose? Is it sandalwood? What's your favorite perfume?
Yeah.
What's his favorite perfume cologne that he's wearing, or vice versa? Yeah. So this is like
So it starts
super detailed,
like
please.
Date moving into kinkiness.
Yes.
And the whole thing is just to discover something about yourself that you might not have known. Right? So that's the fun part. Be
playful and be excited about this, because this is a place where you can go to anytime you want. It's your place. It's yours. That's your kink sacred place.
And it doesn't have to be realistic, or it can be realistic.
Whatever the fuck you want.
Whatever.
It's your imagination. It's your world. If you want it to be a fairyland and all these fairies are coming around sprinkling vagina juice all over you, then amazing.
Something,
Who cares?
Just what's your kinky thing?
What's your kink?
What's your kinky story?
Fairies with vagina glitter juice. Yeah. Ooh, I think that's going to be my next one.
Okay, so we're going to leave everybody with that. Yeah. We're going to leave you with create a kinky date-like scenario. And that's the exercise is literally just to start engaging with that side of yourself. Yeah. And to start dusting the cobwebs off of imagination and playfulness and fantasy, and start diving back into that, because holy fuck, do we ever deplete with time if we don't manage that?
We need the imagination. Your imagination is the manifester. That's how you manifest. And so if you're in a relationship, have some fun. Like don't shame your partner for this is not a shaming, and be like, oh, you'd want to do that. Don't go into this. Both of you go into it with a feminine openness. Yeah. Not logical, feminine openness. Yeah. And just like really hearing your partner and honoring their kink, because they're feeling safe enough to come and chat with you about it.
Which would be such a blessing.
How fun is this?
Yeah.
Yay!
Okay,
so
guys.
Excited, loves.
We're gonna sign off today, because like what's time? Okay, we only went over by like 14 minutes, I think.
I think we did good.
I think we did fucking
and
great.
She's gonna,
we'll see.
Do stuff that needs to be.
Okay, so we're gonna sign off, and again, follow all of our social stuff. I'm gonna get some more stuff crack-a-lackin', like the Facebook group.
Remember, she's over at Mostly Domestic, and I'm
right.
over at Crystal Eyes Alchemy. So come follow us there. She's got great recipes, and I've got some good sex magic rituals.
Tips. Some hot tips. All right. Bye, motherfuckers.
Love you.
Bye.